All right, so our second exercise with respect to notes receivable is a really good problem because it brings out some of the things that we should remember from ACC 310, Intermediate Financial Accounting 1. And it says that on January 1st, Worthy Lake sold machinery to Brown Company, accepting a $25,000 non-interest bearing note maturing on January 1st, 2015. Worthy Lake carried the machinery on its books at a cost of $22,000 and a current book value of $15,000. Now this is the key part. Neither the fair value of the machinery nor the note was determinable at the time of the sale. So remember, going back to our discussion about notes receivable, when neither value is determinable, what we have to do is the note receivable is going to be recorded at the fair value of the property, goods, or services, or the fair value of the note, which is ever more clearly determinable. If neither of these values can be determined, the note is recorded at the present value by using the borrower's incremental interest rate. And what they tell us here is the borrower's incremental interest rate is 12%. So we have to figure out what's the value of this note. And so what we want to do is we want to take, remember it's a 2-year note, and when we do that, n equals 2. The interest rate per year is 12. The future value for this note is going to be $25,000, the amount that we're going to receive. And remember, it's non-interest bearing, so the payment here, which is stated rate times face value, right, is 0, because the stated rate is 0. And I'm going to figure out my present value. And right when I put all those things in, I get a present value of $19,929.85. So we should get a present value of $19,929, and right, this would be negative because right, it's the opposite of the future value. 85. So we're giving up machinery worth $19,929.85. That's what we're giving up today. And the big question for us is, right, this is the value that we're giving up, and our machinery, right, if we thought about the T accounts, machinery is on the books at a cost of $22,000. And what I want to think about is if the book value of the machinery is $15,000, what is the accumulated depreciation associated with that machinery? Well, the accumulated depreciation would be $7,000, because we know that the book value equals $15,000. That's what they told us, and so I solve for the accumulated depreciation. So when we get rid of this machinery, we not only have to take the cost off the books, but we also have to remove the accumulated depreciation. Now, the big question for us when we look at this is, if the book value is $15,000 and what I'm receiving is worth $19,929, what else do we have to recognize in that transaction? And remember, in this case, right, it would be a gain, because we're pretty happy. The value of the machinery must be worth, the fair value must be worth $19,929. It's on the books of $15,000, so we have a gain. The difference between those two is going to be a gain equal to $4,929.85. So we have a lot of things going on here, and we got to think about what we're going to do. So on January 1st, 1/1/13, the note receivable comes on the books always at face value, $25,000, right? And right, I have to remove the accumulated depreciation and the machinery. So accumulated depreciation associated with that machine is $7,000. And here's the machine. And the machine is going to be $22,000. And you remember I have that gain on sale of machine, and that's $4,929.83. And now, right, remember the difference between the current principal amount or face value of the note and the present value is the discount. And that discount is going to be $5,070.15. That difference between the face value and the present value is the amount of the discount. And I'm going to put that, let me just sneak it in here, discount on note receivable, $5,070.15. That should be 85. There's a little bit of a rounding error there, 85. And so that would be my journal entry there to take care of this transaction. All right. So remember, the gain is simply the difference. That's 83. Let me just erase those and put those up right. 22,000 machine, and our gain was 4,929.85. All right. So now, right, even though there's no interest, we still have interest income for 2013, and interest income is going to be the amortization of the discount on note receivable. And so the carrying value of that note initially is $19,929.85. I multiply it by the effective rate of interest, which is 12%. And my interest income in the first period is $2,391.58. And that's going to be interest income. $2,391.58. And for the second year, for 12/31/14, right, I have the discount on note receivable, and that's going to be for $2678.57, and the interest income is $2678.57, and that's again the new carrying value. And let me just make sure that we recognize where that's coming from. That's going to be the $19,929.85 plus the amortization of the discount initially, $2391.58. And so this is going to be the $22,321.43. Times the 12% effective interest method. And the way I got the $22,321.43 is, just remember, I'm going to go to a new slide here, is just think about your T accounts here. We have the note receivable, and that's at $25,000, and our initial discount on note receivable was $5,070.15. And right together, those two accounts, when I add them together, gave me my initial carrying value of the note of $19,929.85. Now remember, what happened that first period is I amortized $2391.58, leaving me with a discount of $2678.57, which has a carrying value then of 321. So multiplying those carrying values by the representative effective interest rate, my interest income that second period was 2678.57, and now my discount is 0 and my carrying value is 25,000, which is how much cash I receive at the end of, or on the end of the note's life, January 1st, 2015. All right. So it's really important to be able to do those discounts on notes receivable and the note receivable transactions. So I'm going to stop here, and that kind of wraps up Chapter 13. We'll be ready for Chapter 14.